The movie begins with two young cousins, Richard and Emmeline, aboard a ship heading home with Richard's father. Richard is only 9 and Emmeline is 7, playful, curious, and unaware that their lives are about to change forever. The ship's crew goes about their duties when suddenly smoke fills the air. The ship has caught fire. Panic spreads like wildfire as passengers scream and scramble for safety. Amidst the chaos, the ship's cook, a gruff but kind man named Patty, grabs the two frightened children and rushes them into a small lifeboat. The smoke blinds them, and they drift away from the others, separated from Richard's father. With nothing but the endless ocean around them, they sail for days, hungry, thirsty, and terrified. Then as the sun rises one morning, a miracle appears. An island, green, vibrant, and alive. Patty rows toward it with all his remaining strength. They finally reach the shore, collapsing in exhaustion. The island seems peaceful at first, a paradise surrounded by the turquoise sea and tall palm trees swaying gently in the breeze. Patty begins searching for signs of human life. He finds none. They are completely alone, but the island has food, water, and shelter. It will have to do. Soon after, Richard finds a human skull buried in the sand, sending chills down their spines. Patty realizes the island might not be as safe as it looks. That night, eerie drum beats echo from the far side of the island. Patty ventures toward the sound and sees something horrifying. A statue covered in blood, surrounded by bones. Human sacrifices. He races back and warns the children never to cross to that side of the island, ever. The law of survival has been set. Days turn into weeks, and Patty teaches the children everything he knows: how to fish, gather fruit, build shelter, and stay alive. He becomes their guardian, their teacher, and their only connection to the world they once knew. But one night, Patty drinks too much from a barrel of rum that washed ashore. As he staggers toward the sea, reaching for the barrel, he slips beneath the waves and never resurfaces. When morning comes, Richard and Emmeline find him lifeless on the beach. Their only protector is gone. The two children bury him with trembling hands. Now they are truly alone in the middle of nowhere. Emmeline weeps, wishing to leave, but Richard, trying to be strong, promises they'll survive together. They sail along the coast to another side of the island, hoping for safety. There they build a new home, using everything Patty taught them. Days pass into years. Seasons change. The children grow into young adults. Richard now a strong, rugged man, and Emmeline a graceful, curious woman. Life is peaceful but strange. They fish, climb trees, laugh, and explore. Yet something begins to stir between them, something neither understands. One day, while bathing in a lagoon, Emmeline experiences her first period and panics. Richard rushes to help, but she pushes him away, embarrassed and afraid. Neither of them understands what's happening to their bodies or their hearts. As time passes, their bond deepens. Richard notices Emmeline in a way he never did before. Her laughter, her eyes, her softness. Emmeline, too, finds herself drawn to him. It's confusing, thrilling, and frightening all at once. They are discovering love without ever learning what it means. Their days are filled with play and wonder, but also tension. When Emmeline wanders too far, she hears the distant drums Patty once warned them about. Curiosity takes over, and she ventures to the forbidden side of the island. There, she finds the same stone idol covered in offerings. But instead of fear, she feels awe. When she tells Richard about it, he becomes furious. "We promised Patty," he yells. "You should never have gone there." His anger scares her, but she can't understand why he's so afraid. That night, she dreams of losing Richard in the sea. Terrified, she wakes and begs him never to leave her. Richard promises, and in the quiet morning light, they share their first kiss, innocent, trembling, and full of emotion. But when Richard tries to get closer, Emmeline pulls away. Confusion builds between them, the tension of love without knowledge. The next day, Richard sees a ship on the horizon, the first in years. He races to build a signal fire, desperate for rescue. But he's too late. The ship sails past. When he learns that Emmeline saw it too and didn't signal, he explodes in anger. She confesses she no longer wants to leave. This island has become their home. Furious, Richard sails away in their small boat, but it breaks, and he's forced to return, humiliated. Their argument worsens until they're hurling insults. Richard accuses her of watching him. She accuses him of spying on her. A coconut flies, a slap lands, and then silence. Emmeline leaves their hut, struggling alone. She prays at the stone idol, seeking peace. But as she walks along the shore, she steps on a poisonous fish and collapses in agony. When Richard finds her, panic floods his face. He lifts her into his arms, begging her not to die. He carries her to the statue and prays, something he's never done. Hours pass, and miraculously, Emmeline's fever breaks. When she wakes, Richard is holding her hand. "I thought I'd lost you," he whispers. Their anger dissolves into relief, and their hearts finally open completely. Under the soft island moon, love blooms at last. They kiss again, and this time, there's no hesitation. The two discover passion for the first time, tender, innocent, and natural. Their lives intertwine completely. Days blend into nights, and they live not as children, but as lovers. Months later, something changes again. Emmeline feels sick, dizzy, and different. She doesn't understand what's happening inside her. Richard worries. One day she takes his hand and places it on her stomach. "Something's moving," she whispers. Neither realizes she's pregnant. One night, Richard hears the haunting drums again. He ventures to the far side and witnesses a terrifying ritual, tribal islanders performing a human sacrifice. He flees, horrified, but when he returns, Emmeline is in labor. Her screams echo through the jungle. Richard rushes to her side, terrified but determined. In the stillness of dawn, Emmeline gives birth to a baby boy. Tears of joy and disbelief fill their eyes. They name him Paddy after the man who once saved them. The island family is now 3. Raising a child without guidance is no easy task. They don't know about baby food or medicine. But when Emmeline holds him close, nature takes over. The baby finds his mother's milk, and the couple learns love in its purest form, family. Years drift by, and the little boy grows up healthy and playful. Richard and Emmeline teach him to swim, to laugh, to explore. Their days are peaceful, their world a paradise. They've built a life no one else could ever understand. Then one day a ship appears in the distance. Richard's father's ship, still searching after all these years. But when he sees 3 mud-covered figures playing by the shore, he doesn't recognize them. He sails away, unaware that his son is just a few yards away. Richard and Emmeline see the ship but stay silent. They no longer want rescue. Civilization feels like a distant dream. Here they are free, untouched by judgment or pain. The island has become their world, their truth. Later, the family sets out in a small boat to visit the old side of the island where they once lived as children. Nostalgia fills the air. They remember Paddy, their childhood, and the years of innocence lost and found again. While playing on the beach, their son accidentally picks poisonous berries and keeps them in the boat. Emmeline doesn't notice. When they drift back into the open sea, the current pulls them far away from shore. They've lost their paddles and their way. As they float helplessly, the boy grows hungry and eats one of the berries. Panic sets in when his parents realize it's poison. Desperate, they try to stop him, but fail. Believing their son is dying, they decide to eat the berries too, choosing to face death together as a family. Hours pass. The sun burns above as they lie motionless in the boat, hand in hand. But fate has one more twist. The berries weren't deadly, only enough to make them sleep. As they drift unconscious, a ship's shadow looms over them. Richard's father spots their boat through a telescope and rushes to them. When he finally reaches them, he fears the worst, but his sailor checks and says softly, "No, sir, they're sleeping." The father's eyes fill with tears as he holds his son's hand. They are saved. The sea glitters around them, and the island that shaped their lives fades into the horizon. If you were stranded on an island with one person for the rest of your life, who would it be? Tell me in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe to Great Animation Recaps for more breathtaking movie stories every week.